Welcome, everyone, to the Society of Consulting Psychology podcast. I am delighted to be joined here with Dr. Ann B., who is currently our outgoing treasurer of SCP. Hi, Ann B. How are you doing today?
I am doing great, Yuji. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you. Thank you. I'd love to just kick off the podcast by opening up the floor and having you share a little bit about yourself.
I would be happy to. Thank you. It's always a delight to be on the SCP podcast. And a little about me, I am president of my own consulting firm called Lumos, which means we light, actually, in Latin. And I have been doing consulting psychology work since 1999. So this is my 24th year. I primarily focus on three areas: doing assessment work for selection and development, and really looking at that differently in our talent landscape today. Looks very different than it did when I started. Doing a lot of work with individuals in executive coaching and leadership development work. And I'm doing a tremendous amount of work in teams, particularly high-performing virtual teams, which, for those of you who are breaking into consulting, you can hear me talk about on Sunday at the conference. That's my little plug right away.
Wonderful. Jump right on in. Give me your plugs. Where will people be seeing you at the conference this year?
Oh, I'm so excited about the conference. I am just so excited. First, to be with my people. This is my professional home, and it really has been since I went to my first conference in the early 2000s. And I'll answer your question in a second, but just to say, if this is your first conference, I'm so excited for you because I think you will feel enveloped by a group of people who are incredibly smart and talented and focused on what clients need, and also super loving and fun. So I hope you will feel the warm embrace of intellect and interpersonal connection. And I know I'm looking forward to that. You will find me probably in 16 different places because that seems to be who I am. As part of the board, I'll be meeting with the board early in the week, and then I'll be attending some pre-conference workshops on Thursday. Friday, attending our great keynotes and concurrent sessions. And then on Saturday, I will be presenting with a client at 5:15 p.m. And I'm happy to talk more about that because I think it is, in my humble opinion, a great capstone event to our theme of conscious consulting. And on Sunday, I will be presenting first thing in the morning at the Breaking Into Consulting session on working with teams and groups. And in between all of that, you will probably find me probably swimming or biking or running, because those are all things I like to do, as well as enjoying people in the after hours events, like our jam session.
Wonderful. Oh, I'm so excited. I feel the conference theme coming alive. Conscious communities, authentic connections, transformational communities. Now tell me, how do you connect with the conference theme?
Such a great question. For me, I think my this presentation on Saturday night really is kind of the culmination for me of all of those elements. Presenting with the amazing David Lee Windecher, who, if you get a chance to read the title of our program or his the summary of our program, he's a pretty amazing individual. He was incarcerated 13 times before his 19th birthday, went on to become a criminal defense attorney, and now runs a nonprofit focused on eliminating recidivism. And I have the luxury of working with him as a coach in a pro bono capacity. So he has willingly and delightfully agreed to fly from Atlanta on his own dime to present with me at this conference. And the work that we're doing is really beyond David and the work of being a leader, but really in his mind, transforming the way he's leading and how he's impacting his community. We will have a very real conversation about how we've been working together and the biases and the preconceived notions that can come along with our work. And we're going to be really inviting our audience to engage with us in these real and genuine conversations. So I am really looking forward to our session. I hope people will experience it as being very genuine and real, as well as demonstrating how, as consultants, as coaches, we can impact and transform the communities in which we live and serve.
Wow. Incredible. I'm excited.
I hope so. Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Now, I'm so curious, how did you get so passionate about this work?
That's a great question. I started graduate school thinking, like many of us, that I was going to be a clinical psychologist. In fact, I thought I was going to be a clinical psychologist since I was 11 and had a sign on my desk that said, "Anne the analyst, the doctor is in," like Lucy from Peanuts. And I discovered consulting in graduate school, and I was just hooked. I loved the fact that you could engage some of the very same skills and capabilities around that we used in clinical work and framing situations and understanding the human dynamics that are going on, but with people who were in a work context and could also, in very pragmatic kind of cognitive behavioral terms, take things and apply them and really see the impact of that work. And, while I think that the relationship in coaching is quite clear, it's equally clear to me now how we can bring those same skills, those same abilities to understand and leverage our frameworks, leverage our ability to connect with people in real and true meaningful ways in consulting capacities as well. And ultimately, my goals are really around that, is to help people discover their own capabilities and drive solutions that they can continue to leverage way beyond my time with them. I joke often with clients that my goal is to work myself out of a job so that they can fire me eventually, because they have the skills and the capabilities that they need, only so I can go work somewhere else, of course. But that's really inspiring to me and has really kept me engaged around the work. And I learned so much from our clients. I learned so much from my colleagues. It's just a great career to be in. We're lucky.
Yeah. So inspiring. It moves me to want to ask you if you can sum up in maybe a sentence or two, what problem do you hope to solve in this work?
Yeah, I have a particular response around that that's a little more granular than what I just talked about. So aside from, wanting to end global hunger and massive economic disparities, my personal goal is to really help leaders think differently about leadership, and to think about leadership not as a short-term fix to problems, because that's what organizations will encourage us to do, to be in short-term mode, but to really think about it in a long-term capacity. And that has to do with my focus on what I call endurance leadership, which we can discuss in a different podcast if we want to. But my hope is to really help leaders recognize and develop the skills needed to lead for the long term, not only for their organizational success, but for their own personal well-being, satisfaction, and longevity.
Ooh, I love it. I love it. And I can see that mind, body, spirit connection that you're integrating, and how you mentioned about the activities that you plan on doing at the conference outside of the psychology world of being in the conference, like going swimming and being active. And I see how it all connects with your long-term mission in life. And that's phenomenal that you're living and breathing it. I love it.
Thanks. Fingers crossed I continue to be able to do that. That's right.
If you can dream it,
That's
you
right.
can be.
You can do it. You can do it. That's right.
Now, one thing I do want to know is, outside of working, what brings you happiness and joy?
Yeah. Some of those things that sound crazy to do all the time, like these sports I do. I am an endurance athlete, so I do triathlons every year, which at my advanced age, it's getting crazier by the year, but I still enjoy it. So I'm doing a half Ironman race in July in New York State, and I'll be started my official training plan this morning. And so that brings me joy, as crazy as it sounds, knowing that I am pushing myself, knowing that I am continuing to try to up my own game, to have a goal that I can achieve and continue to try to make progress on, and also creating a very strong community around that. So that's fun to me. It also happens to be exercise in particular, something that my spouse and I love to do together. That brings me a lot of joy as well. So spending time with family. We have a lake house in New York State, and I love being able to be there and spend time with my siblings and my mom and my nieces and nephews, et cetera. So those things bring me joy. I love to do service work in DC. There's no shortage of needs and opportunities. So love that too, and love to travel. So we're in Vancouver for a long weekend. Not an advisable time to go visit Vancouver if you're looking for a lot of dry, sunny outdoor activities. Lovely, but just a little wet. And then going to the UK next month. So got some fun travel plans as well. Yeah.
What are you looking forward to the most in UK?
I'm actually meeting up with colleagues, so super excited about that. And we're actually thinking about doing these, I don't know what it's called, but it's like these, in their park system, you can go, they have these like night events where essentially you can see, ideally, the Northern Lights, if the timing and the lighting is right. And so you can actually go like stay at a lodge and basically like night camp. So I don't know if the weather will be good enough for us to do that, but we're kind of keeping our fingers crossed and, get my share of fish and chip, really good fish and chips along.
Classic. You got to get that before you leave out. And
That's right. I'll get it as soon as I get off the plane.
I'm sure there will be plenty of places for that.
Plenty.
I really want to know, with this day and age with technology, and we're always in our phones, and you got to live life with your phones, and having tremendous amounts of apps, and it leads me to my next question is, tell me your secret. Is there an app that you use that you may not be proud of, or that you or that app on the weekend or after work, or is there a app that he loves to go to?
Okay, I will be happy to answer that question, but can I first tell you about an app I totally love?
Yes.
Which is, okay, now you're gonna think I'm saying one thing and I'm not. It's called Worldle, not Wordle, Worldle. and it is essentially Wordle for geography. And so it shows you a country, and then you have 6 or 7 guesses, and with each guess it gives you like how close you are in terms of kilometers, and then in what direction you go. So you might be 56% of the way, and it's like northeast of what you guessed. And all the countries look exactly the same size, nothing's to scale. So Russia and Papua New Guinea look like they're the same size. So it's really fun. If you have a thing for geography, it's kind of fun. And my goal is to not cheat. Sometimes I don't reach it. I will say that in general, and I'm really glad that you're not Dr. J, because she would probably reach through the podcast machinery and strangle me. But in general, social media is like the bane of my existence. Just to put a fine point on my age. But I will say I do sometimes enjoy some LinkedIn, but I do occasionally get on the meta machine, which I think is Facebook these days, and occasionally see what's going on with other people, and then I usually promptly shut it all back down again. So if you want to find me, I am enjoying Instagram a little bit more these days than I used to, but yeah, the Facebook is probably the bane of my existence and a little embarrassing to me.
Yeah. We're not going to quantify what occasionally means. However, it's great for keeping up with family. And
that's right. Occasionally seeing when the next high school reunion is. That's
cool. Yeah. Mm-hmm. My last question for you is, tell me, overall, what are you looking forward to the most in this conference?
Oh, just yes. I mean, in all honesty, like I've just been looking forward to this so much that I kind of feel like I want to say yes to everything about the conference. Like, yes, I want to do this, and I want to go there, and I want to talk to these people. But ultimately, it's the connections. I think for all of us, not having been to a conference, it's still amazing to me when you think about 2020 that most people we know did not attend any conferences in 2020. We were lucky enough. Had we known what we know, we were just by the skin of our teeth able to make that conference come out. But it's been 3 years, and there's just such wonderful people that I can't wait to really just say hello to and hear them talk about their lives in person and embrace them and celebrate with them, and sometimes not celebrate and go talk about pains and difficulties as well. But just the human connection is probably the thing that I feel like is irreplaceable, and we can't get any other way. So I am absolutely looking forward to that. And of course, the jam session.
Oh, the jam session. All right. Time to get the outfit together for the jam session too.
Get that outfit together and get your singing voice ready to go, Ujji.
Yes.
There's always an opportunity.
The band is getting ready, and they are ready to rock that jam session.
Serious people, like all these people coming out of the woodwork we didn't even know played. This is exciting.
It's amazing to see how talented the SCP members are, outside of just being consulting psychologists, bringing those connections together. And Dr. Ann B., I'm so glad that you had the opportunity to take time out of your evening in preparation for your session at the conference too. Thank you so much for sharing some of your jewels and gems with those out there that's watching the podcast. I'd love for you to mention one more time the name of your session.
Mm-hmm. So our session, I'm trying to remember what our session is actually called. I think it's Coaching for Impact. And it's a longer title, but it's really about a former convict turned lawyer and his coach and the lessons they have learned.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Dr. Amby. And for those that are out there watching and you're headed to the conference in a few weeks, make sure you stop by and say hi to Dr. Amby and myself. We look forward to meeting you all. And thank you so much for viewers out there that are watching the podcast. I hope you all have a great evening.
Thank you, Ujji. Great to see you.
See you too. Bye-bye.